Well, hello and welcome to more Destiny 2 videos. This time it's going to be a little bit different because, as you can probably see in some shape or form, I'm actually narrating for this video post-playthrough. So this mission is the Power Level 340 mission, the second to last step on the Nascent Dawn quest. Now, the aim for that particular, I think it's like the final fifth out of fifth step. I don't take my word for it, so look up on Google if you're confused. But yeah, the fifth step is actually for the Polaris Lance Exotic Scout Rifle Catalyst. So this is the second to last step to actually getting that catalyst. The previous step, which was like the week before, that was for the actual gun, exotic version of the gun. But anyway, it's the Power Level 340. As far as I know, nothing has actually changed because if you're playing the Power Level 340 version, you will have played the Strange Terrain already because it's part of the main campaign. So compared to that, nothing has actually changed as far as I know. So it's actually a fairly straightforward quest. Although some people did say that they found it trickier towards the end where the wizard was. So from that perspective, I think it's worthwhile to make a video, but it's not worthwhile to make a video on its own. So what I'm going to do instead is that, aside from narrating off what I am able to see that is of interest, I actually want to talk about something else that's happening at the same time, or roughly around the same time frame as when I'm doing this recording. So what's going on? It is the start of July 2018. If you're watching from like in far into the future, hello, welcome into the welcome to the video. But I really don't think it's gonna make it that far into the future. But yeah, start of July. One faction rally is already done. The second one is currently ongoing. So that's that's one of the reasons why a lot of videos have been delayed, because I had to grind for it and I don't have enough time to grind for those tokens. But for the first faction rally, Dead Orbit won, naturally, because of Graviton Lance. And as you can see in the video, I'm actually using Graviton Lance because I need to complete the catalyst. So probably should explain about the loadout before I move on. So I'm using Midnight Coup, Graviton Lance, and Sins of the Past. If you're using a combination of those three, I do find that it's quite flexible, so you can pretty much tackle any stages. If you want to switch to something else, that's probably for better DPS, but I do find that a close range, mid-range, and the burst damage weapon like a rocket launcher is pretty much like the standard setup for every single stage that I find in Destiny 2 anyway. So I'm also using a Void Hunter, in case you hadn't noticed yet, from the Superbar. Superbar? That just sounds like some sort of really weird fancy wine bar. From the super that you can see, I'm using the Night Stalker Hunter, which is my main thing, so I main the Hunter, and it's currently playing solo. And it's not actually that particularly difficult. I don't think there's anything worthy of mention apart from the fact that they're a little bit beefier, the enemies. But anyway, so yes, Faction Rally, the second one is currently ongoing as of the time of recording. The first issue that I found with the faction rally during the first faction rally after they changed it, it gets really confusing, but this is the faction rally where they started to offer the catalyst as an end rank reward. And the first issue is that you're stuck with one faction. If you don't have enough time to actually grind for tokens, you're very likely to be stuck with one faction, and therefore you're only stuck with one catalyst. Now, Bungie didn't actually say where you can get those catalysts. Maybe you can get them out elsewhere. I haven't actually heard, and I do think that it's only fair for them to offer the catalyst elsewhere. But as of the time, again, of the recording, is that I don't see anywhere else where we can get that. So the only way is to get it through the faction. Now, that's not really a big issue. The biggest issue is that faction rally is a chore, or was a chore if you're watching from the future. Was. But yeah, what I do think is that it should have made it either that you get a little bit more token per grind, or at least give like a different tier of token reward depending on the activity you're doing. So if you're doing, let's say, heroic strikes, you get a little bit more token. If you're doing raids, you get a little bit more token. If you're doing prestige, then yeah, sure, a little bit more token too, but they didn't do that. The fastest way to earn token is through getting 5 stacks of renown and then, jump down into a lost sector and then do your thing, and then you come back out, and then you have to go through the reboot process and you do everything all over again. So because that is the quickest way, that makes it a chore, that makes it repetitive, that makes it laborious. All those words that you find, but essentially it means it's boring. It's dull AF. But because the catalysts are genuinely useful, because they're actually very attractive rewards, so people would grind for it. However, that comes to the next issue. The next issue is, sorry, choked there a little bit. The next issue is that you only get 3 faction rallies. So for people who like to be a bit of a perfectionist, who like to collect stuff along the way, fill up their vault spaces, and like me, that makes it extremely unfriendly. So I'll have to go in every single faction rally event, and I actually need to make sure I get the 1,000 tokens. Now, working out the math, it's not actually that bad. So with each day you get a daily challenge, and then you get I think 15 tokens completing the actual challenge, and then the activity you require to complete in order to complete the challenge will also get you some tokens. So essentially for the first, I think 70 to 80 odd tokens, if you have all 3 characters working in harmony, you get like 70-80 tokens pretty much like instantaneously, and after that you do need to get maybe, let's see, 50-60 more tokens from your own motivation. So that works out to be, if you use a public event, for instance, if you grind for public events, that is 5 tokens for heroic and then 10 tokens for a lost sector. That means you need to play maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 times public events plus a loot, lost sector loot, in order to get all the stuff for that day. So if you spread it over 7 days, it's not actually that bad, but to do that 7 days in a row is bad. So what I do think Bungie should have done is offered a little bit more time. So by saying time, I mean obviously because it's a weekly thing, the only way to do that would be to offer more faction rally events. However, they can't do that because because they don't have enough to offer, which is the ultimate problem. They don't have enough weapons in the pool to offer you like interesting rewards that would attract you to come back. At the same time, they want to, provide people with the purpose to grind faction rallies to come back and join those activities to play the game. And therefore, they have to cram in this really nice reward in a very short space, which is 7 days, and they have to give you something that is boring as hell to grind for to satisfy every single group or category or level of users, depending on how you see it. But yeah, there are people who've been complaining about there's not enough grinding. There have been people complaining about not enough rewards, that faction rallies are meaningless, it doesn't matter who you go for, which this faction rally, I would say, since they started rewarding the catalyst, has fixed a few of those things, but it's not really anywhere close to what we had in D1, which is sad to say that we seem to be going in loop all the way back to Destiny 1 every time when we talk about it, because in Destiny 1 the ultimate reward system is a god roll, which is the random rolls, and Destiny 2 will get random rolls back when Forsaken hits, which is something that I also want to talk about later on. But when Forsaken hits, that's just when the next DLC hits. I just can't say that word. When the next DLC hits, it's gonna solve maybe a bunch more problems, but also potentially create some more issues. I think that's a discussion for another video. But yeah, I do think that the current faction rally is still broken. From the first rally, I thought that Bungie may or would have learned something, and then the second one they would change, like maybe make tiny little tweaks to offer you maybe more tokens, or in some ways like less boring kind of grind. I mean, all they had to do really would be to make certain activities stand out more, or maybe even offer a little bit more challenging mode so you get more tokens quicker. but they didn't do that. I should have guessed, really. Don't know what I expected. It's Bungie. Bungo. But yes, so the main issue now is that Faction Rally is likely to end with the third rally being exactly the same as the first two, which is you have to grind for 1,000 tokens and nothing's going to change. It's very unlikely they will change it now because it's a stable system. As boring as it sounds, it's still stable. So the next thing then that we need to look forward to after the Faction Rally would be the Forsaken DLC. Obviously there are people who are still grinding in the Iron Banner as well, but I think that's completely dead now. So because if you've already been playing Iron Banner, it's a very exclusive event for people who are enthusiastic about PvP. Now in D1, Iron Banner actually was quite useful because the rewards that dropped from Iron Banner, they follow your light level or power level depending on how you see. So I remember actually grinding Iron Banner in D1 for a 400 power level or light level ghost, and the moment it dropped, that's the first time one of my characters reached 400. So for me, in that perspective, Iron Banner was very useful, and it's different in D2 because it doesn't actually drop that. Or drop anything close to the light level, so it becomes just a pure PvP kind of wet dream. That's not quite the phrase I'm going for, but I'm going to use it anyway. So Iron Banner is dead, as far as I know. So if you've been grinding, good for you, and I will be playing too, but only on a casual basis because I already got all the ornaments, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. So Forsaken DLC, that is the next big thing. Now, as much as possible, I don't actually actively seek out the trailers and the spoilers, and just so that I get to keep a little bit of surprise to myself when I play the game. It's very likely that I'll be doing some recordings around that too. I'm not sure whether I should go for a main gameplay walkthrough because, like I said in one of the videos, Destiny DLCs tend to be a little bit short, and it's not like mega challenging to go through, but if there's like a really good mission, I might record that and just upload it to YouTube, and maybe as per usual, traditional thing, I will die a couple of times in the playthrough, just for your entertainment. But yeah, the Forsaken DLC I do find interesting, and I do look forward to it and definitely getting it. I think the main issue now is that there seems to be quite a lot on how the system changes, or how the system's going to change. So first of all, I already mentioned that random rolls is coming back, and that's going to actually affect some of my videos as well, because some of my silly reviews based on guns that had the static roll. So a lot of the legendaries that I already reviewed, they're going to be a little bit pointless now, or will be pointless by the time Forsaken releases. So for me as a content creator, I think I will try my best to make use of that new system with the random rolls, and I might be able to offer something entirely new, in entirely new light, perspective, angle, da-di-da-di-da. Hopefully I can still make something funny, and that's what I aim to do. But aside from the random rolls, we're getting new supers, new skill tree, I think, new skill tree blocks. So those, it's logical assumption that we'll get a new skill tree / block for each character, although not different element. I would have loved to see a fourth subclass, because that would change a lot of things. That would change playstyle, that would change DPS, optimal DPS setup, that would change your loadout. There'll be a lot of actually new element as well, because all the subclasses follow the arc, solar, and also void. So weapons also follow those three. So if you're introducing a new element, that would actually introduce new weapons too. So that's like a completely new thing that people often overlook. For me, I would have loved to see something new like that, but no. But we're getting new supers, so that's cool too. I'm looking forward to the new PvP mode. I think I can make a few videos out of that too. I can certainly see myself playing that with my clanmates and also with my friends online. It does seem to be quite interesting. That's Gambit, by the way, if you haven't heard of it. The new PvEVP mode, as people say it, depending on how you see it. But yeah, there's that. which is good to look forward to. Everyone seemed to be well, the hype is a little bit dead now, but when it was first released, the Cade 6 final moment teaser was a big thing, and I think one of the biggest spoilers, which kind of ruined a lot of things for me. But at the same time, I haven't actually seen anything Bungie has done so far in Destiny universe, in terms of marketing at least, that managed to unite so many players to potentially come back and play the game. Or every single one of them was just talking about how they're going to avenge Cade 6 and how there's going to be how there have to be a new Cade 7. I absolutely adore that idea that there should be a Cade 7. What I do worry about, I'm not too worried about Cade 6 being dead. Sorry, spoiler alert, I should have said that. But we're not entirely sure that he's going to be forever dead because it's Destiny. So if fans really wanted to, Bungie can easily resurrect him. But let's just say, theoretically, he is staying dead. What I'm more worried about is that I'm stuck with Zavala and Ikora, and it's a bit like asking you if you're going to be stuck on an island with one of these two, and you have to choose one of them to face for life. Who are you going to face? Either you choose someone who's kind of a hothead and knows nothing but smash, 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 and the other one is like complete zen and out of this dimension. And as cool as they are, if I were stuck on an island with all 3 vanguards available as an option, I would definitely choose Cade 6. It's just at least he has a sense of humor. The other 2 don't. So that makes it a little bit tricky for me to imagine how the Destiny universe would be after Forsaken comes out. So that's my take, but I'm still going to get it, I'm still going to play it, and definitely would be excited to see what new weapons there are, not what new exotics there will be, and certainly would be excited to see you there. But yeah, you can expect me to be making more videos, and hopefully in the upcoming week-ish, I shall be making a little bit more PvP quickies. Those are actually mega fun for me to play because it requires a lot of reactive stuff, like on the spot commentary, so hopefully I can improve on that because I actually quite enjoy making those things. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you ever watched this video all the way to the end. Kudos for staying all the way to the end. But yeah, let me know what you want to see from me, because I actually had quite a few series. I have like city reviews, I have PvP quickies, and I also have the RNG reviews. But I could easily spin up some new series as long as it's interesting and it's definitely fun for me to do. I don't mind spending the time and actually doing it. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, drop me a comment and I shall make sure it happens. So that brings us neatly to the end of the mission. Hopefully you've seen what you wanted to see and heard what you wanted to hear, and possibly not actually hearing the stuff you want to hear because I've not actually commentated throughout the playthrough. But as I say, it's a very standard power 340 Strange Terrains mission. So with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. It actually means a lot and it's free. So but if you disliked it, feel free to throw a hatred out by hitting the dislike button or the thumbs down, but be sure to leave me a comment as well as to what you actually disliked, because it's very hard to work with just a thumbs down. I'd love to hear some feedback, and even if they're negative, I'll still love to hear it. So yeah, but if you really enjoyed the video and you enjoyed my silly voice, then consider getting subscribed, and let me know what you want to see in the future, and I'll make sure that happens for you. So yeah, see you soon.